1990, this shit's fire. This shit's fire. This shit's fire. This shit's fire. This shit's fire.
Brand new caddy. Brand new caddy. Brand new caddy. Caddy.
Internet press play. Raspo beats. Raspo beats.
Check. What's going down, everyone? I believe my mic should be all good. Somebody please let me know if you cannot hear me. Anybody? Okay. I have a feeling that if it weren't working, someone would let me know. I know what it is. Okay, cool. I'm good. Appreciate it. Before we jump into this songwriter power panel, and I am waiting on one special guest. Hopefully they jump in at the last minute and save us. Matter of fact, I can shoot them a DM right now. I do have one announcement, but shout out to everyone that's tuned in. Shout out to everyone in the chat. It's always nice to see familiar names and positive energy. Tuesday, though, of this month, that's next Tuesday, September 14th. The Battle of the Type Beats is going on again, and this upcoming match will be Drake versus Kanye Type Beats. Damn, I should enter that. I see why they did that. Okay. Yeah. Everyone's doing the Donda versus Certified Lover Boy. So this is a continuation of that, but for beatmakers. So you can submit your beats at beatstars.world/opportunities. Shout out to Marcus. I was about to paste this in the chat. He did it first. Shout out to Marcus for doing that. Beatstars.world. I'll pin it right here. Beatstars.world/opportunities. That's how you submit your beats. And I would encourage you to do it before next Tuesday. You win prizes. You win the crown of the Battle of the Type Beats for that week. And yeah, Miles, exactly. And let's jump into this. If our other panelist joins us in the middle, that's cool. I can just throw some questions her way. I'm gonna have to mute somebody. Someone was working on music. That was Dubby. What's going down, gentlemen? Thank you so much for tuning in today and being a part of this. I know everyone's busy. I know Federo's like writing and recording 15 different pieces of content as well. I don't know. He's out of his mind. How are you both feeling?
Oh, good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good, W. How are you sounding?
Can you hear me? Check.
we're everyone. This is the first time I think I've had multiple guests and everybody has a condenser mic.
I was worried about this. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I worry about it all the time. I
My
don't know how.
My last podcast I did, man, we're going in and out the whole time. Couldn't hear me, all sorts of fuzzy stuff. So I'm glad it's working.
Everybody looks like they have professional setups. I'm jealous, especially you, Payne. Like you have like a DSLR over there.
Where?
I'm just saying how crisp your video is kind of blurred in the background. Like
it's technically a mirrorless. So
okay, you got money.
Yeah. I got it used on eBay. I encourage everyone to get their stuff used on eBay. From mics to matter of fact, let me ask. This isn't on my list of questions, but what kind of mic are both of you using to record vocals?
Go ahead.
I have the Avatone CV12. I love this microphone.
Mine's a Neumann with a bunch of numbers after it. I honestly forget the combination of the numbers, but it's a smaller Neumann. I think it was like 700-ish.
The 102?
Like I said, man, I don't know the numbers behind it and all the, I can never remember that, but no, that's cool, man. It's good. I used to have the little Rode one, the N1 or whatever, but I upgraded. Yeah. And I upgraded like 8 months ago or something. So
how do you like the upgrade? How does it sound better in comparison to
the clarity definitely pops through without doing anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just this much,
Yeah.
It's just enough,
No, and my bad about I didn't mean DSLR wear. I meant like my brain was just, it's been a long week. Okay, we got everyone in here. Oh, beautiful. It's nice now. We have this symmetry with the squares that we didn't have prior. Can I change the view? Does that change it? No, it doesn't. All right, there we go. That's way better. So I do have an intro question. Oh, by the way, the Audio Technica mics are great. I have the 4040. It's served me very well, but the fact that I upgraded the preamp made it sound way better. Anyway, enough about mics. We could talk all day. I have 2 intro questions for all 4 of you. And I guess let's just start in order on my screen. So Federa, Brianna, then Dubby. How long have you been writing songs, and which DAW do you use to record your vocals?
I actually started off writing maybe about 5 years ago. I started off as a producer, actually. And me working with artists, I was just like, I could always hear the words, and I have a musical background. So like 5 years ago, I started really, really writing lyrics, but I got tired of being a producer. So, and I always wanted to sing. So, writing gave me that opportunity to not only write for artists, but express myself so I can like sing and do demos and references and stuff like that. So like 5 years ago.
And now we are joined by Brianna, aka Dream Life Beats. And,
Hi.
She is not Dream Life. That's an inside joke. I'm not Dream Life either. For some reason, both of us get confused for him. He's a great man. No one knows what he truly looks like. He wears many faces, and we have no idea what he looks like, but we're often confused for him.
Right.
So I'm throwing that question right back to you.
So how long have I been writing? And what was the other question?
What DAW do you use for your recording?
Okay, so I record in Pro Tools. I started in Logic, but I just for some reason get a better sound out of Pro Tools, so that's what I stick with. I've been writing since I was maybe in like middle school, but I didn't start doing it professionally until I like graduated from college, and because I didn't even know it was a thing that you could do professionally. So I would definitely say like over 10, maybe even 15 years.
That's dope.
So first of all, I gotta say, I didn't realize I was gonna be on this with the 2 of y'all, and I'm a big fan of the hooks that you guys make, and I've been seeing them for a while, and I did not know you were even gonna be on this. So that's really cool.
It's an ambush interview.
Yeah, seriously. Man, so it's like y'all might not know me, but I know you guys, and y'all make some bangers. I love to be a part of this with y'all. So I use Logic right now. I'm not tech savvy like that, so I've always been one that has done all the writing and creating, and then I had always had an engineer for like 9 years to direct and kind of, because the technical side was always scary for me. But these past 3 years, I made my own home studio and I've been working it. So Pro Tools is the next step, but I'm just kind of like mastering Logic right now. But I've been doing definitely the hook game probably for the last 4 years or so. But like before that, I was, it just kind of an avenue that the hook game was kind of an avenue that just kind of ran into me with Majestic Records. They kind of just hit me up after they heard something, and then we started working. And then I was like, man, I should do this with all sorts of people. So let's start hitting people up and see if they want some hooks. So,
I definitely want to pick up on a lot of the topics that all of you alluded to, especially what you just said, W, about ouch. We're not going to fight the DAW war today. About what you said about how you started and working with producers and so forth. But I also want to pick up on what you said about not being tech savvy, and I think you're maybe downplaying your talents. Because all three of you, I believe, I have worked with all three of you quite a bit over the years, and you send me mixed vocals. What are some of your favorite plugins to use on your own vocals to make them sound the way you like?
You want to start with me, Payne, or what do you want to start with?
Let's go in reverse order. So let's do W, Brianna, and then Federa.
Okay.
Man, see, look, you're just hitting me with tech questions. Like, so the first thing, my favorite plugin, and I use it scarcely. It's usually for like more like the ad libs and the background stuff, is definitely the doubler, like super wide, verbed out. I love the doubler. I think it sounds good. I think there's a ton of different doublers that sound funky, but I don't know. The doubler is probably one of my favorites. Man, like as far as like favorite things go, though, that's probably the one that I like, that kind of stands out, that I know that I really enjoy. I don't know. Ping pong delay is hot. I don't know. Ping pong delay. That's one of the ad lib go-tos and stuff like that. But everything for like the main vocals is pretty like, I don't know, standard. I would say. Compression, de-esser, auto-tune, all that stuff is just kind of like the standard stuff.
Okay, so Brianna, I want to ask you a question that I asked to start out with, and it's an easy one. What kind of mic are you using right now? And then what are some of your favorite plugins to put on your voice?
The mic I'm using is called a Telefunken AR51. I don't even think they make it anymore, but I would stand behind anything Telefunken makes. So it's like a tube mic, and it just makes your vocals sound really warm and just, I don't know, I can't even explain. It's a wonderful sound. But plugins, Jesus, I don't like. What plugin do I not like is like really the question. But let me see.
Yeah,
Lately,
they're all fun.
right? I'm the queen of plugins.
Yeah.
Like I love a plugin. But as far as my vocals, I really, really, really think EQ is so important. My favorite is probably the Fab Filter Q2. I think that's what it's called. Love that. I use it on everything. I'm obsessed with Isotope right now. They have this plugin called, is it Neutron? Neutron and Ozone, I love using together as like mastering kind of buddies, like on the whole entire track. You can emulate a mix, which I think is fire. So like if I have a song and I know like, okay, it kind of sounds like Janae Aiko, and then Janae Aiko has like the right like tone of a song. I don't know if I'm even explaining that right, but like the overall tone of the song, you can like emulate. So I love that because I'm not like crazy technical, I have like an interest, and so I do good in the things I'm excited about, but there are certain things that go over my head. So plugins that like Isotope makes that can kind of do the heavy lifting for you. I love that. So love Neutron, love Ozone, and what else have I been using a lot of lately? Mani Delay from Waves. Love that. And that's pretty much like my favorites.
Dope.
Dig
setup.
it. Dig it.
Dope setup.
And you, sir, Federa, what are your favorite plugins?
Oh man, I got so many favorite plugins. My all-time favorite plugin right now is the CLA Vocal by Chris Lloyd Algae. I love that plugin. I mean, it's like the Swiss Army knife of plugins. You know what I mean? As far as like compressors, there's this plugin called the Retro Compressor, the 4030 by MCDSP, I believe. Amazing compressor. Warm, gives any mic that warm vintage sound. As far as like EQs, the Pultec EQP1A, you gotta have that. Like, gotta have that. And Payne, like I've done, so a lot of people don't know I've did like 70 Payne beats, right? Like I did like 70 hooks.
That's a lot.
Like, yeah. So, but I have this signature thing that I do in the background with this free tuner called M Auto Pitch, right? And it has this format that I use to kind of screw my voice, it's kind of like Alter Boy. If you guys ever use that plugin, Alter Boy, it's kind of like that, but it's like a free version. So
that's what you're using. It sounds good, and it's free.
Yes, it's M Auto Pitch. So it's really technically a tuner, but it's just like a little forming pitch on it that you can manipulate the pitch. And I kind of do like this dreamy, spacey thing in the background. So Payne, you know what I'm talking about. But if people ever like listen to the hooks, like that's what I use mainly on the ad libs to like accentuate and bring out the ad libs. It's like one of my favorite plugins of all time. So those are my go-tos.
All right, I'm about to download that now if it's free. And I like I've been thinking about Formant Control, and it's by as Ingenious Beats points out, it's by Melda. So
yeah,
they do have a good
Melda. I love Melda. I think anything they make is great.
Yeah, EQs are amazing too. Yeah, EQs are amazing. The compressors are pretty good too.
All right, so here's a great question, and someone asked this in the chat too. A lot of producers ask me this. I'll ask you, in your experiences, do artists want to buy beats with hooks on them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, they doing it for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
without question, for sure.
I'll tell you, as an artist, that like I release a lot of music and do a lot of music with other people and stuff like that. Obviously, I make hooks and stuff, but I personally wouldn't buy a beat with a hook on it just because I always want to make them my own. But it's definitely extremely popular to do. You know what I mean? Kind of takes out a step. You already got the catchy aspect of it, and then you can build a story around it. You know, with your own words, you know?
Yeah, I definitely get a lot of messages from people who are like, you know, I'm not really good at writing hooks. And since you had already started the idea, it inspired this idea. Or sometimes people who aren't even really trying to release music or just want the therapy of like writing a song, and they hear your hook and they want to just finish, you know, write some verses out to it. So I don't know, everybody has their own reasonings, but there's always somebody in the market for something like this, even if you aren't the specific person looking for it. So it's definitely a big thing for sure.
And most definitely. And people don't understand that, you know, as us as hook writers, we've been doing this for a minute. That gives artists the opportunity to leverage our brand. Mm-hmm. Like I put a girl recently over the last year on 3 hooks. She got a deal already. You know what I mean? So you never know what artists can do with these hooks and who they can attach themselves to help them go up. So, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, and like he said, like, that extra step, like the concept is already there. The hardest part about, to me, creating a song is coming up with the concept and the hook. Mm. So once you get that out the way, then everything's green light to go. Like 2 16s, 2 12s, and we're out of here. Let's do it.
Okay, I'm curious. You brought up an artist getting a deal. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, most definitely. So there's a girl that I was working with named Autumn Marini. She just got signed to Blackground Records. Black Brown, Barry Hankerson is Aaliyah's uncle. So she kind of has that look. When I started working with her, that was my whole deal. She didn't have a buzz at the time. I was like, look, let me put you on these hooks. We did 3 of them. I shot 3 of the videos, just like little hook videos in my living room. And all of them, one of them has like 125,000 views. Another one has like 70,000 views. And the other one has like close to 10. But it was able to, like, me doing that for her was like, it was kind of creating the buzz and the momentum that she needs to carry over to her next situation. You know what I mean? So it's just helpful. So that's why I like just collaborate. That's the most important part. I feel like we're collaborating with artists, because you never know who these people are going to be, who you never know who we're going to be. You know what I mean? So it's just best to attach yourself to as many like popping brands as possible. If I could give some advice to artists.
True.
Yeah, to pick up on that, Brianna, you have a cool distinction, I believe, right? You're one of the most credited songwriters on which platform, or maybe all platforms?
Probably, well, definitely Spotify and Apple Music for sure. There's like thousands of songs on there. And in my experience, I would say I think there's positives and negatives to it. It's definitely something that's rare. You know what I mean? Like, not many people have that many collaborations. And as you were mentioning earlier, there have been people that it's like, okay, yeah, nah, he got that song. He went to, I don't know, Jay-Z's house. I'm just randomly saying things, but like, crazy things have like a domino effect, and some of them are smaller artists, and then some of them are like really poppin' underground indie artists. So yes, I've gotten opportunities because of that, but then also I think there's also a strange association with, because not all songs are good songs. So I would say there's just a lot. There's a lot of features. So I think there's good and there's bad in that. But it's definitely, I would say, worked out for the better for me and helped me get more situations going for myself.
Right.
Yeah, would you all say that it's more, because obviously we can't control what artists create to our tracks, and I personally just try to suspend judgment, because there's stuff that's popular that I don't necessarily love. I think there's such thing as an objectively bad recording, but at the same time, maybe there's not. I don't know. Brianna, you're basically saying there's good and bad, but overall the good outweighs the bad. Is that the experience, or have any of you experienced something overwhelmingly negative about licensing hooks?
I could look. There's more terrible recordings to my hooks than like recordings that I love. I'm just gonna be honest, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that I always like lean on is that it's hard to break a record. People don't understand what it takes, the amount of money it takes to break a record. So I don't mind, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, and I'm just gonna be honest, like, people are never gonna hear this. Like, you know what I mean? But the
Okay,
ones
wait. I have to interrupt you, because let me tell you something to look forward to. But like, I don't know your life, or like where you're gonna end up, or like what kind of things you like to do. But this is a story that happened,
okay.
and you just made me think of it, and I have to say it.
Okay, go ahead.
But okay, so yes, I think it's great. And I think especially for us, like if you're coming from a place that maybe nobody has known you before, and then to start having like these type of songs, and the strategy of like, he's going to record your song, then all the people that knows him is going to know you now, and then this person record your song, now all the people that know them is going to know you now. I think that is a crazy growth strategy, which has totally benefited me, and I'm so grateful, because I get emails all the time from just different people that are like, hey, yeah, I randomly heard your song on Brian's album, and I'm like, oh, thanks, cool. But now they have this amazing opportunity that they want me to be a part of, or I'm getting paid for whatever, because now they want to use the song for this. Amazing, excellent. But I have started doing this thing where I license a lot of my hooks to television and film. So I make full songs versions to them, and then I get them licensed on television and film. And so recently, one of my songs had a really big scene on a show, right? And it was actually a popular hook. and I hadn't released it yet, like, because I didn't know when it was gonna air, and I didn't know it was gonna be on that big of a scene. So I hadn't released it yet, and literally somebody who did not have a really good version of the song got like 20 or 30,000 Shazams like in one night from that.
Damn.
From that song. And so then, then I was trying to like run around and be like, oh God, I have to put it out now. Then I had to like contact everyone and be like, that's not the right version of the song. And so, but it's hard to fix it after that. So I think that's one of those moments where I kind of feel like, dang it. Like if I didn't have 50 million versions of the same song, you know what I mean? Then I would have been easier to find like as an artist. Cause I feel like your true fans who just want to hear you, they now have to cipher through all of those records. And so that's kind of been the downside to it, but I still think there's more positive. But that's like one of the sides that I'm kind of like, that sucks.
It seems like, and it also seems like a rare instance that can outweigh the benefits. I think one of the interesting things that I've been running into a lot lately is people that have bought hooks that I have made. And it's worked out great a lot of times, but they have wanted to do a music video. And then it turns into like, okay, if I do the video for this hook, is it going to make it seem like this was, I don't know, like the main version or the ultimate version, because I'm on a video with the hook that a bunch of people leased, but I'm on it with just this artist.
Like it shows preference or something.
Exactly. And then, and I don't know, that's a problem. It's not a problem, but it's something that I've been dealing with a little bit more. And I'm trying to work on how to navigate it correctly. It makes sense if it's like the exclusive purchase of the hook.
I say no to everybody.
Just for videos?
We're not doing a video. I say, this is what the wording I say is no videos on hooks that are leased. I'm open to it if you purchase a custom hook. That's only for that person. Because then you don't have to tell 100 other people why you did that one video and not the other. Unless that leased video was like J. Cole himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I got you. I think I've ran into the situation where some of the songs, they're like, so we got to kind of, I don't know, beat around the bush. But then I've done some that were like, all right, this is hot. This is nice. I like this. You know what I mean? I'm down to do it. And I've done that a couple times. Just because I like the song that was made,
I mean, and you know what? At the end of the day, it's your business and it's your rules. So it's like you really don't have to explain to anybody why you said you're not going to do their video. True. You could also just put like, I don't know how you do your business. Like if you have a website or something, you could put on there like if I'm standing behind your song, I'm open to doing the video for like whatever fee. But if it doesn't align with, you know what I mean? Me or what I'm doing at the moment, then it's going to be a no.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like if someone drops the misogyny anthem and they're like,
I mean, I've had people like that before. Like somebody sent a song and they had paid. I wasn't gonna do a video though. This was just they were wanting me to record something to it. And then when I listened to the lyrics, because they had went through the whole process of paying me, we did our whole thing. And so I was about to sit down and record. Bruh, the lyrics were like he's talking about shooting everybody. It was horrible. I was just like, oh, okay, I can't do that. So yeah, it's got to align with what you believe in. And
it would have been one of these video shoots.
No, thank you.
Have you guys ever ran into, like, I ran into a situation where I wasn't in the music video and the song took off, like has like 300,000 views on the music video?
Yeah, I'm sure that's happened.
That happened to me. I'm like, dang, I should have been in the music video. Like, so I mean,
I think it depends
you have to do your homework.
Yeah, like if you really believe in the song, I definitely think you should go for it. For me, I just say no to everyone because I know I don't feel like being in your video. That's pretty much like what my thought process was. But yeah, I think it depends on where you are. If you really like a song, you believe in it.
Yeah, why not?
Don't miss that opportunity.
Well, it's tough. I mean, as a beat maker too, I get asked to fly out for music videos, and I think a lot of the time it's just like, yeah, I bought this lease, why don't you come out? And it's like, well, because the plane ticket and the lodging cost, 27 times more than what the lease fee was. So that's logistically difficult for me.
Yeah.
And I think it's really just kind of not always a reasonable thing to ask of someone, especially if they live 2,000 miles away from you, or
Right.
even in another country, which they often do. Um, Producers, this is something that was hard for me. Just from a customer service standpoint, listening to music, giving feedback, because there's just so much, and especially you look at all four of us here, we're all working together. So if I have if I have 10 to 20 songs with each one of these songwriters, that's a whole lot of music coming, an influx of music. So I try to listen as much as I can. What is your advice? Obviously, we don't want to offend our customers, but we also don't want to lie. What's your advice for giving constructive criticism to people who submit music that may need a little bit of work?
Oof. I would say, if I can interject first, is that artists have to study their craft. Like you have to be able to know when you're good. And that means getting feedback from the market, seeing how the people around you, and just that's why I'm an advocate for putting music out, because I like to put out a lot of music because I want feedback from the market to see, is the direction that I'm going in a good direction? What do you guys like, more soulful stuff? Do you guys like this? You guys like that? So artists have to do the same thing. If you know that you're not getting a great response and everything is, comes from the art first or from the music first, like really study, because the people who are listening to you, especially like if you put it on YouTube, if you put it on like SoundCloud, Spotify, like people who are, when you put it on social platforms and people who have no real connection with you, they're going to tell you the truth. Like, yo, and especially on YouTube, like, yo, this is bad. So you got to get feedback from the market, and, and even ask. I know, but I don't, the only thing that I have is like, sometimes when, like, let's say if they pay us for like a hook or a beat, I don't feel like sometimes we're as objective as we can, because these are our customers. You know what I mean? So we're just like, okay, you just paid me, $600 for a custom hook. Like, yo, dude, that's terrible. Like, come on, I want you to come and buy again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, there is that fine line. But if you do consult with one of us and like, yo, look, I want to pay you for an hour before you book a hook, and say, look, I want to pay you for an hour of your time to listen to a couple of my songs. What do you think about this? Because I'm going to eventually want to book you for a hook in the future, but I want to make sure it comes out great. So I think that artists should take the approach of like getting more advice, especially before you pay and work with somebody. Pay them for their ear first. That's what I would say. That's my advice.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would say I often don't offer feedback. If someone's like just emailing or DMing, I typically encourage them to either book a coaching session with me, unless I do happen to stop and listen to it and I have something constructive to say back, then I will. But I find it really difficult to listen to a lot of songs and then offer feedback. That's very time consuming. So I typically refer them to coaching.
Yeah, you can usually get a gist off like the first four or 8 bars or whatever they got going on in the song. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with both you guys. Sometimes it is a little, I don't know, kind of, you're like, dang, man, you don't want to be rude. You don't want to be rude. Those are your customer base, but you give
Yeah,
them
I mean, you can
vague supportive statement that's like, keep working, man, keep working.
You can offer a positivity sandwich. Like you can say like, hey, I really loved how you approached the melody on this track. I would have really probably approached the cadence of the verse differently, but I did like the overall concept of the song. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's your feedback. So then you kind of just jabbed a little negativity inside the positivity sandwich.
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised that a lot of artists are not way better because of the technology. Like we can literally have a studio with a laptop and a microphone and an audio interface. Like I'm surprised like artists are not recording all day You know, like you get time, you get off work, like, you know what I mean? And we do have a lot of dope artists. I'm not trying to take away that. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
take away from anything, but some of the stuff that I've heard, I'm like, man, like, did you take your time at all? What did you do?
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
the other thing
Yeah.
with the technology. It's very affordable now, so everybody can just put together a studio quick and lay something down. You know what I mean? So it's like, 6, 7, 8 years ago, that wasn't the case. A lot of times, either people were just starting that, or you had to go to a studio and record, at least get some direction at the studio. But now it's just like everybody can record. So yeah, people who just have that new equipment or just starting out, just take a little time. You know what I mean? You don't got to be done today. You don't have to be done today. Sit on it. Let your ears marinate in that.
Yeah.
Well,
You
let
know?
me ask all of you this then. As a beat maker and a music producer, I go online and there are more tutorials explaining to me how to do my craft better than I'll ever have time in my life to watch. I don't, and we love it as producers. We love going online and watching tutorials. We love it. I don't know that that's the case with songwriting, and I put everyone in the same, rappers, singers, whoever. I think there are way fewer resources for songwriters than there are for music producers. Is that true, or is that just a flaw in my perspective?
Ah,
I think there's a lot of content for songwriters, but here's the thing. The thing that's a little different from production and writing songs is I kind of feel like this is my opinion. I think songwriting is a little more personal. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a little more vulnerable, and then everybody's processes are so different. I strongly believe there's like no wrong or right way to write a song as long as like the end result is the song. I think it really starts to come down to like researching and studying the artists that are successful and understanding why this song is great. You know what I'm saying? Why is this song great? Why does everyone gravitate toward this song? What makes a universally good song? Because like as you were mentioning earlier, like a good or bad song is kind of objective. So to teach someone to songwriting to me is such a difficult process. So I think it's a little harder to make a lot of content on it because a lot of the content you do see is very technical, like this is how you put together a song with these kind of chords, and this is how you would make this melody, like this. And it's like, but what about the people that kind of just go in the booth and then they just record a melody? You know what I mean? Like it's like
Yeah. Well, yeah, some people are just naturals at it. I mean,
yeah. 'Cause
there
I
are
mean,
producers who make amazing music. They have zero formal training. They have no business being as dope as like T Minus is one of them. He has no business being that good. But that being said, the same applies to songwriters. I just don't. It's very easy to make a tutorial on how to tune a sub bass or how to add swing to your drums. It's difficult to make a tutorial that teaches people how to make good beats, and it's also very difficult to teach people how to sing with emotion or how to write songs that aren't corny lyrically, or how to write melodies that are dynamic enough to be catchy. How do you teach someone to write a catchy melody, for example?
can I jump in for a second?
yeah.
Because I mean, okay, so I'm gonna give you guys the quickest tutorial on how to write dope songs. This is it. I want everybody to listen up. What I did to get really, really good, I would just pull up lyrics that I really, really liked on Billboard, and I would write down all of the lyrics. Because what you have to do is you have to reverse engineer good songs. Because why is this song the number one song in the country? Why is this song in the top 10? Why is this song the top one on radio? Then you'll start to get into the mind of the songwriters and the artists that already made it and figure out what they're doing. Because if we have to look at it from a perspective of like, okay, if we want to write songs, if you want to be a songwriter, how do you practice? So what I did to practice, and when I was like, oh, y'all want to be a really, really good songwriter, I just wanted to tune in with other writers. So I would study like a Rico Love or The Dream or a Neo or, some of the top guys and say, okay, what are they doing right? Like, and how are they doing it in such a way where people love this style? So then like me looking at that and I just reverse engineer. And I said, okay, they're doing like that. They're doing like that. They change it up on these bars. okay, let me take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and let me add my flavor onto it. And I just created an identity. So people kind of, I would say, just do the same thing. If you want to learn how to write, start looking at lyrics and studying lyrics. That's just my
Yeah.
take.
I definitely agree with. I'll piggyback off what both of you said. Like even just the main thing is there. I feel like there's two things. So definitely studying the industry, and it's as simple as just listening to the top songs. Drake just dropped the album. Yeah, I'm listening to it and I'm checking it out, but I'm studying that. He's the number one artist for a reason. So
Right.
just listen to that and see what he's doing and the melodies that he's hitting. They're very simplistic, but a lot of them are there. You know what I mean? That they're hitting for a reason. And the other thing is the emotion aspect. You really got to be even if you were to copy a complete hook from somebody else, you wrote it down, you want to sing it yourself, it doesn't matter that you can hit the notes if you don't mean what you say and you don't put that emotion behind what you're saying. Because there's been plenty of times in the studio where I'm working with somebody and they'll say something and they'll have to stop and be like, all right, bro, like say how you mean. Like I'm not feeling that. Like you don't even sound like you feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
So those words that are down on paper that you're about to sing and recite, you just really need to immerse yourself in them and feel that you are living exactly what you're saying. And that will come out in the speakers.
You know, that makes a lot of sense, especially bringing up Drake because he has a background in acting. And a lot of great singers have backgrounds in theater. Do any of you have backgrounds in theater? Like just even in a limited capacity, like high school or something?
Yeah.
No.
I do theater and choir in high school.
I didn't do theater, but I did choir, and we were really, the teacher that we had was really in depth and would like teach, like break down all the compositions and things that we were working on, so we would fully understand, even if we were singing like in Latin or German or whatever, like she would break down the emotion or like the story behind like what made it. And so it made it easy to really like become that character in the song. But kind of to jump back to what you guys were saying, I think you guys are like the 1%. Like everything you're saying, like study the greats and like just do it. It's like everybody's just not going to do it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes teaching songwriting difficult, because I mean, I work with a lot of artists right now where I'm trying to like help them better their songwriting. And sometimes I think there's elements like when we're like, hey, you know, make a catchy hook. It's like, what even is the definition of catchy? Like, what does that even mean? You know what I mean? I think everything is so, there's nothing concrete in songwriting. It's hard to just be like, this is the thing, versus like a production. It's like, these are the notes. And like songwriting, it's just kind of like, well, be emotional and like be be relatable, be this, like give us imagery, give us that. It's a difficult thing to teach, in my opinion, like, and to have the results of that student becoming actually a really, really good songwriter, if that makes sense.
Sometimes having just a slightly creative pen to begin with can also help in that process. You know what I mean? But no, I definitely hear you. I've watched a couple songwriting tutorials out of curiosity, and I don't know. They're kind of just like telling you things to do. I don't know. They always just seemed a little bit silly. They're like, I need to either be in person with somebody who's talking to me and we're working together, or we need to be in the studio bouncing ideas. But the songwriting tutorials that I've seen, I'm just like, I don't know how you can, I don't know.
But that, what you just said, like, so for me, I learned songwriting. I always was writing, right? But I wasn't writing good songs. I was writing things and there was something there. I had a nice voice. When I was in my bubble, everyone was like, you know, and when I say my bubble, I mean like my hometown, my family, my friends. People are like, wow, that's good, because, you know, average listeners, most things are probably good to them. But going to like a music city like LA and being around like the greats songwriters and then hearing their songs in comparison to my songs was like a rude awakening, like a rude awakening, where I was like, I'm actually not that good. And then even had like a whole moment of like, I don't even think I should be songwriting. But I really didn't learn until I was an intern for one of those songwriters, and I was in his sessions every single day, watching how he was putting together those songs, watching how he was collaborating with other artists, watching what putting together a good melody or good vocal production even actually meant. So I think some people who are like just teaching themselves, they don't even know what to look for to see what, why is Drake's song so great? It's like you don't even know this first steps. You don't know where to even look yet. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes
Yeah.
you have to be illuminated onto like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that was the thing. So yeah.
No, I
So
hear you. Yeah.
so it's a songwriter that's been cutting records in my living room. You guys know Ivory Scott. He just wrote the new Young Blue record, the Young Blue and Chris Brown record.
I know
That
Young
the
Blue.
Hitmaker record, the new one. So he wrote the hook for Chris Brown, right? And I'm just like looking at the process, and I'm just like, you know what? Everything starts with being able to express yourself. For example, like how we speak about certain topics, right? If you say that you love somebody or you're arguing with somebody, you would have no problems like expressing the way that you feel. That's writing. You know what I mean? First thing first is just like not trying to make it artificial and just leverage off of how you feel. So the thing is, when a lot of times songwriters and artists approach songs, they're trying to do it from an artificial place of trying to make up an emotion. You know what I mean? Like even what bro was saying, like, yo, expressing yourself and how Drake comes across in the song. We call that the pocket. Like, yo, when that tone meets that great deliver, like that great delivery with good pitch, like that's the pocket.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So, but first we have to just not make our expression artificial. It's like, okay, I love you. So how do we say that? How do we convey that to a person that we really love? And can you do that on the record? You know what I mean? So
Do it in a refreshing way, like without literally saying I love you. I think
right,
that's really pushing songwriting.
right,
It's like we
right,
know you can say I love you, but how do you push that? How do you make that clever? How do you make it new? You know?
right. That's dope.
Yeah, yeah. Songwriters tend to be pretty linguistically witty, I've found. Maybe even a little sassy, maybe a little even sarcastic or sharp tongued, scary at times. You don't want to cross them. Speaking from experience, present company excluded. I've never been cussed out by any one of you.
So Pain,
Anyway.
let me Pain, I want to ask you a question.
You didn't get
Like
my
cause
message.
Pain, so look, when you work with artists like songwriters like us, do you keep the songwriters in mind when you make beats?
Sometimes I do, yeah, and sometimes I just make the beat, and as I'm making it, I think, "Oh wow, yeah, Fidel's gonna love this," or "I gotta send this one to W because this is his." I know his vocal range. I know Brianna's thematic range. I know that this is gonna fall right into that. So, but it takes time from just listening to what the songwriter tends to gravitate towards in their writing. But I think that's just a part of being a producer. It's not just you make the beat and that's that. It's you make the beat with intention, and that's probably one of those things that can apply to all creatives. Just the intentionality behind the creative process. What is this? What is the purpose of this? Why am I making it? What am I trying to do with it? What do I want this particular work, whether it's visual, whether it's an instrumental, whether it's vocals, what do I want this to accomplish for a listener, for a customer, for a collaborator? And that's a hard conversation because it's, again, like Brianna keeps emphasizing, it's abstract. It's always abstract, and you're trying to create something tangible out of these intangible things floating around your head, which we call emotions or thoughts or impulses, whatever. So it's, I see the tables have been turned and I'm being interviewed. I want to ask a question. I want to combine these two questions because people want to know how you got into the beat leasing markets. Producers always ask me how I get hooks on my beats. In fact, some people have asked that in the chat today. Honestly, I don't have a good answer. I just feel kind of like I'm blessed by the people around me, all of you included. In your experiences, how do beat makers and hook writers connect?
Instagram.
I mean,
Good
even
answer.
in BeatStars, you could just look beats with hooks, and then you can just look down at a bunch of different. You could see all of our names on there. You know, you could see all sorts of people that are on these hooks, and then you can just go hit them up. You know, my thing when I was trying to get more hook work, that's where I went and I saw a bunch of producers that had more than 3 or 4 songs with hooks. So I know that they're actually making those type of beats with the hooks rather than just 1 or 2. And I hit all of them up. That's how I hit you up,
Yeah,
you know?
I think the thing is if so Payne, is this question about connecting songwriters with producers? Like how are they establishing connections or
Yeah, or in your experience, how have you connected with beat makers, and how have they connected with you?
okay, I'm gonna use you for an example. Like when I hit Payne up, I hit him up on Instagram, and the first thing I did was say, look, I love your work. Your work is incredible. As a matter of fact, I was a customer first. I had leased his beats before I even did any hooks to them. Like I want to show you that I support you before I do any work with you. I leased his beats and was like, yo, I leased some of your beats. I would love to throw some hooks on them. I want to add value to you. So I was coming from a place where I wasn't looking to like, create a situation because you have the bigger following than I do. You know what I mean? And so I was just like, this could be a really conducive relationship, because look, I do this, I know you do this could be mutually beneficial. So if I would say if songwriters want to get with producers, like don't come at it from a place of wanting something. Come from a place of giving value. You come from a place of giving value, then like people will respond because it's a lot of producers that hit me up and they're like, and they start off the conversation so wrong. Like, and I'm always like, man, like, and I think I have to be mindful because we are in the music industry and people don't understand how to network that well. So I'm always giving people like the benefit of the doubt. But if I could give any advice to people, it's like you want to work with somebody, whether it be a songwriter, producer, look to give value first. That's what I did. So that's how I connected with Payne and other beat makers.
Yeah, I know with Brianna, I had to eat chicken salads, Korean barbecue. What else do like it was like 3 dinners in like 3 different states. And then whatever we ate it. No, LA was the Korean. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Korean barbecue, and
That
then
was an experience.
yeah, that was new for me. That was new.
They make you cook the food at your table in like this charcoal thing that seems dangerously close to where you're sitting. But anyway, yeah, I think sometimes you just got to connect. So I don't know.
In my experience, I would say like when I first started doing hooks, I was not shooting for the stars. I was working with people that were pretty much on my level. Like when I started working with Mantra and Dream Life, they were not all the way popping. So I got in on the ground floor on that, and then we kind of like grew together. And then from there, other producers ended up just starting reaching out to me on Instagram. So yeah, I would say if you can find hidden gems that aren't like all the way unreachable, you know what I mean? And grow together and come up with a strategy together, I think that's an excellent way.
Yeah. I also think don't jump in talking money quickly, show that you can like with Payne one, I just had he sent me, 5 beats or 4 or 5 beats. So I just made a hook to all of them. And then just said, whatever ones you like, let's rock with it. You know what I mean? And just, create first, give them and show them what you can do, and then go from there, But yeah.
So then let's pick up on the creative angle of the collaborative experience. What makes a beat good to you? What makes you hear a beat and want to write to that?
The chords. I like really good chords and the right sounds, because sometimes you can have good chords and then the wrong choice of sounds, and it gets on my nerves, and then I don't want to do it. So I would say good chords and like good sound choice.
Yeah. I don't want to be overwhelmed by the instruments and the beat.
Absolutely.
Like because I want to be able to fit a good melody in there. Because a lot of times what producers will do wrong is that they'll create like a sound in the hook that's supposed to be me. That's supposed to be my melody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So So get out of the way and let me create like a melody. If they keep just simple and open, that's what I would say. Just simple and open, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Definitely simple and open is always preferred.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Simple and open, but at the same time, I never like to put any specifications. I don't like anything to be genre specific. I don't want to ever be put in a box. I'm just send me what you got, and then we'll see what we can work with. You know what I mean? But I always like the challenge of a beat that I'm like, okay, this isn't typically what we do, but let me just mess with it to just give myself a challenge, because you can surprise yourself if you just put your mind to it a little bit. So,
Right.
I'm definitely always open to genres. I always prefer unfinished beats. I like to kind of dictate where we're going. And then I love when people finish shit after the fact. It's harder for me to write to things that are like fully finished, because I don't know why that's always just been a challenge for me. If I have to, I can, but I prefer not to. So yeah, I typically like unfinished, good chords, good sound choice, and then, as both of you are saying, simple and open.
So Bree, you typically like the beat with just like constructed where you can hear like the verses but the hook with no drums.
Like Dream Life, typically he will finish the track, right? But when he sends it to me, he'll send the intro, and then he'll send like a really dumbed down version of like the rest of the track. You know what I mean? Because I typically will move stuff anyways. Because I'm that kind of person. I will take your whole track and like chop it up and then move it over here, move this over there. So he'll just like make a couple sections, and then like that's it. It'll probably only be like 1 minute, but when I send it back, it might be like 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Because I've moved and constructed things. And then Mantra normally sends me like straight up loops. It'll just be like, the main sound, some drums, and then like a section where maybe there's no drums, and that's about it.
I really think that when someone sends me a beat that's basically done, it allows me to really find the emotion and the topic of the song. Okay. Sometimes if it's kind of like, if you're just hitting me with the drums and like one type of like loop or whatever, I don't know what your vision for it was. And I can create emotion over that. But if I get the beat that's basically done, I can really create the imagery a little bit better, I think. And every time I get a beat and do a hook, I always assume that, if there are changes that need to be made, I'm working on it now, so it's clearly not done. So you can always, conform around the hook that I give it. But at the same time, when a beat, that's how I write songs when I'm just doing my own songs, because the beat's usually kind of done, unless I'm making it. So it gives me like exactly that the imagery and, the buildups and the emotion behind it. The beat kind of sets the, the emotion level or what we're going to be going for,
Yeah, I think we're the opposite. I like to dictate everything you just said. I like to dictate it.
But I'm down to dictate too. But if
I'd be
done,
like,
I'm down.
you take all of that off.
Maybe I'm just like send me whatever. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah,
it don't really matter.
It depends, because there are some producers that like can send me anything, and then I'm good with it. But I would definitely say with Mantra, our strongest songs came from when he sent me unfinished loops and I dictated the whole thing. And then he would come back and like, build around what just happened.
See, that's crazy, because I got the opposite opposite experience. When Majestic would send me the finished beats, those were our best songs. And then they would send me just the piano chords.
Majestic sends me just pianos, and like those are our best ones.
See, those are like that's like the opposite for when I'm working with Majestic. That's crazy.
Yeah, they used to send me finished stuff, and I was like, please just send me loops. So then they started just sending folders of like piano chords or like piano chords and like those like dope drums. They always have those dope hip hop drums. And then they would finish after I was done.
That's dope to hear how like who's in charge of coming up with the identity of the record and how like putting it together, and like we're forming, like we're having this baby, like who has the input in having it, like, that's super dope.
I will say I also love, like, at the same time, I like dictating things, but I do love after I've sent vocals. Dream Life does this. Like if there's something he doesn't want somewhere or he wants it somewhere else, he'll move my vocals around too. So like it kind of is like a two-way street. So I be moving his stuff around, and then sometimes I send him stuff, and then the hook is like, in different places, or he might put the end of the vocal at the beginning of the whatever. Or sometimes he just takes a line and repeats the line. He's done that a couple times as well. So I'm cool with that too. I like to just feel like I've given you all the pieces. So like now build the beat, and you know what I mean? With my vocals, build what you need to build.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's dope. That's dope.
Okay, so we're running out of time. Here's my final question, and I have a bunch more questions. People are already asking for a part 2, so hopefully we can make that happen. I'm just amazed we could make this happen with 3 guests. What is your most powerful marketing tool, whether it's YouTube, Instagram ads, BeatStars promo, email list? What's your most powerful marketing tool when it comes to selling your hooks and sending traffic to your beat stores?
I could say YouTube. What I do is I drop the beat and with hook on YouTube and put a video on it, because I don't see anybody else doing it. You know what I mean? I think that when artists get a chance to see who's behind the hook, it goes a lot further. You know what I mean? Like that's just one of my tactics. Also, I do BeatStars promo. Of course, I just started getting to running ads, but for the most part, like dropping them on YouTube and putting videos behind them of just the hook, which is everything.
When I first was like really, really, really like heavy on hooks, I would be paying for ads, Facebook ads. Dream Life was paying for Facebook ads. Mantra was paying for, like, all of us were like ads. YouTube, of course, all day. Anytime there was like a promotional opportunity with BeatStars, we're hopping on that. It would be on all social media platforms, but I would say like best results definitely came from Facebook ads. Drives so much traffic to, your website or your pro page. And then obviously with time, because we were advertising so much and we're getting so much traffic, my name also became a keyword. So then that kind of became really helpful. And then as well as Dream Life and Mantra and all the other producers that I was working with, it all kind of just like the synergy just kind of, it all went together. But I would say, but after ads, I would say the collaboration is what made everything propel. Strategic collaborations.
Yeah.
Y'all pretty much hit it. It's Facebook ads for me, Instagram ads. When it comes to the YouTube, usually the producer that I do the hook with will upload it to YouTube, and I'll kind of share that, but I don't ever upload it myself. I don't know. I think I always felt like should just be like at that one spot. I don't know. That was just me. And just traffic should go to that one.
Wait, so you say you only the producer's the only one that uploads for you?
Yeah, I don't upload, and I never really. I don't know if like that might be something that I need to like navigate more.
You should upload too, because you never know. Sometimes you guys, it might seem like the whole audience is theirs, but I would say people that follow me, sometimes they don't follow like DJ Payne or Dream Life, or you know what I mean. Like they're just interested in my hooks.
Okay. Yeah, it's weird. So with the hooks that we've done together, Brianna, like the Feel Me record, right? Mm-hmm. That actually, I think it went crazy on both of our YouTube channels. Mm-hmm. And so that I would say it probably doubled our sales. And then with Federo, he's on BeatStars and he's doing his promo and everything. And so I'd say it's damn near even. Like we're selling the same amount of the same beat from each of our respective accounts. So I know that's always a question of maybe I don't know, property or territory or whatever, but I'd say if there are as many collaborators as are on the track, drop it everywhere.
So say Payne, if you have like a buy one get one free deal, and then Bree has the same beat on her thing, are you making a completely different deal? Like Breeze would be like a different thing. Like it's just like what she charges.
Prices. Like I don't know what you do, DJ Payne, but like I match. Like it probably makes more sense for us to match them because we have more
Yeah.
collaborations than probably the producer. So
Yeah.
I typically like if I know Dream Life sells his things for whatever price, then all Dream Life's tracks are his price. And same with Mantra. My base price is the same as Mantra's. Like anything I do like with my own crew of people, it's always the same. I like his pricing. And then when I do work with DJ Payne, it's his pricing. That's typically what I do. Same
Okay.
exact pricing.
I don't do
And
that.
but,
I think price is a part of your brand. You know, like a lot of my stuff is more expensive than the producers, you know, than I work with. And I do that intentionally, you know, because I want to let you know, like when you come over here, like it's going to be experience. But what I'm working on is creating like a better back end. You know what I mean? So I'm going to eventually add stuff on with the hook because what's the next step after the artist leases a beat from you? Like they're going to need the next step that we probably know. Maybe some information, something to bundle with it, you know? And because I think that our responsibility is kind of like to help the artist through the transition because we know we've been there. We know what it's like to make a record, to, you know, put it out for it to be good. Why aren't we giving more of that on the back end? So I feel like, okay, if I'm going to be more expensive than the producer who I'm collaborating with, let me add something on this back end and give more value. That's just my thing, you know?
Yeah, I've
So,
had bad experiences with that.
yeah.
Like A, clients being like, why is it more expensive here? Or B, I've had issues with producers being like, why is your pricing not the same as my pricing? Like, so for me, I don't like having issues with people. So ever since I've had those pricing issues, especially with producers, ever since then, whatever his pricing is, that's our pricing. Whatever their
But
pricing
Bree,
is, that's our
but,
pricing. Because I don't
but,
like to have any type of conflict with people. So that
but
was why I
Bree,
made that
if
choice.
your
Yeah.
pricing is higher and you're still making a split with that producer, wouldn't it just benefit the producer if someone bought from, like, why would they even get mad that the pricing is different?
People are so strange. I don't know, but
Oh, okay.
I just
All right,
that's the
it.
answer
That's
right
it.
there.
All right, I got you. I got
I
you.
was
I
gonna
got
say 'cause I
you.
definitely I've had like one or two producers like when I was like first coming up on BeatStars go all the way off on me. So I don't mess around with like the split. Like the first thing, like whenever someone's like, "Hey, do you want to do whatever?" I'd be like, "What are the splits?" Because somebody went all the way off on me because they felt a type of way, and then another person went all the way off on me because my pricing didn't match his pricing. And I do think my pricing was more expensive because I don't remember how he had it. Actually, his unlimited was more expensive than mine. His was like 500 or something like outrageous, and mine was like 199.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, everyone's different. I know. I was laughing when W asked the question about the buy one get whatever free deal because like it became almost it's damn near a joke now where all like memory will be here and you know he and I work with Dream Life all day, so you know Brianna can relate to this, and we'll just sit there and be like, hey, I just got a 0 sale from Dream Life. And be like, yeah, I just got 2 from Dream Life. I'm like, it's cool. I'm gonna send them a couple soon. We'll see. I think it all balances out, but on bad days, it hurts my heart. But on good days, I'm just like, whatever. So
Yeah, don't get me started on that
works out.
0 for the sale.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When I first started, I didn't really know what it meant when I was seeing all the free things, and so I obviously I was working with Abe from BeatStars a lot. So I messaged him one day and I was like, "Why are people giving our hooks away for free?" And I was like, "You need to tell everyone to stop that." So then like he literally went through and was like, "You have to stop the buy one get one free. Anything that with Brianna needs to stop." And then it didn't work out. Like so we ended up having to go back and being like, "Okay, fine, you could do the buy one get one free thing."
So with that being said, like with the buy one get one free, do you guys feel like that we're undervalued or we're undervaluing ourselves? Because when you
No.
see like like we see like some of these sales come through and they're like 0, like because you know I feel like well I'll just ask the question to you guys. Go ahead.
Well, it depends. So I work with a handful of producers, and there's one that has a lot of play, but they have crazy deals. It's always buy one get 3 free,
All right.
and it just depends on what beat is clicked and put into the cart first, and it cancels out all the other ones. So I've had like a ton of 0s, and sometimes I'm just like, dude, you've had this deal for like a year. Like, it's just this should be like the Black Friday deal, not like all damn day deal. And that sometimes would be like, yeah, I feel like I'm giving away free product. Like, I don't know. There's been, there's an example of one of the hooks that has sold 12 times and I only got paid for 2.
Wow. Yeah.
And that has happened multiple times. And I'm just like, yo.
But you also got to be strategic, like when you're looking for producers to work with, of their promos. Because I started doing that. Like when I started finding, like, okay, every time I work with this person, I sell like 1 hook and get paid for it, and then there's 30 that go out for free. So I'm gonna like pull back on how many hooks I'm sending this person.
And sometimes it turns into like, I'm on a 3-week tear, and that's when we banged out all those hooks, but they'll go up over a 3-4 month period, but then I'll start seeing that come in. And now it's like, well, damn, I just gave away, 35 tracks with my vocals on it for free. And yeah, that can be, sometimes I'm just like, what's the point? And I do feel undervalued in that sense, but it doesn't happen a lot. It's just kind of a couple circumstances.
Yeah, I think that we always have to be mindful of the customers and the psychology. And I'm always trying to think like, how much responsibility do we have to like condition our clients to like the kind of selling that we're doing, because sometimes I used to change my beat deals and then people wouldn't buy. But there's certain people
change my beat deals.
yeah. So, and then there's some people that would just buy regardless, like they don't care if you have a deal or not. So I'm always struggling and fighting with like, should the people who I give the deals to be reserved for the people who are buying? Because to me, that's kind of making more sense where I'm at. It's like, all right, look, if you prove that you're going to come over here and buy, then, I'll give you a deal, because I'll look at my statistics and I have like thousands of free downloads. Like, what's up? Y'all gonna come in? Are you guys going to come in the party or what?
Well,
so.
Also, depending on how you like leverage those free downloads, I'm sure you're aware that on BeatStars you can merge your like email service, your email, I don't know what those are called, and email distributor, whatever.
Marketing.
Yeah, and so I will say that running those deals has heavily increased the emails that I have in my little contacts. So when I, when I have new things going on, even when I have stuff going on that doesn't even deal with hooks, I now have this whole clientele that I own. You know what I mean? So I do think there's benefits to it. And the way I try to look at the free thing, even though it's annoying, I just look at it as, I hope that person's more likely to come back and be willing to pay now that they got this high quality something for free. You know what I mean? So that's how I try to and I try to look at it like karma. Like, it's good karma. I'm going to give you this and it's going to come back around.
So,
okay,
Bree,
so my bad. We're 10 minutes over.
Okay.
We definitely have to schedule a part 2. BeatStars is going to kill me. Final question. It cut off the display names. I don't know why, but shout out your social media, your preferred social media, so people can check in, follow you, check out your hooks, buy your products, etc.
W got bars on everything. W got bars, DUBBYGOTBARS. Instagram, Twitter, BeatStars, all that stuff. All one word.
You can find me at It's Brianna Marin on all social media platforms, or BriannaMarin.com to lead you anywhere in life.
And mine is hooksbyfedero.com and King Federo on Instagram. So those are the 2 main places that I'm at, my site or the Instagram. So that's me.
Okay, we're gonna have to do a part 2. Sorry for cutting it off. What was I gonna say? Appreciate all 3 of you sharing your experiences, and it's cool to see how much we have in common and how much we actually have differences in our approaches to either writing or selling our music. Once again, shout out to everyone in the chat. Appreciate all of you. Next week, Edan's in the building. He's a producer for the late great Mac Miller and Wiz Khalifa. And the last conversation we had went viral, kind of for the wrong reasons, but a bunch of big publications like Double XL ran with something he said about Atlantic Records releasing mixtapes rather than albums, because they cost less and they pay people less. So let's see what controversy we stir up next Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on BeatStars.live. Brianna, Federo, W, appreciate all three of you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, Payne.